Hello and welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker. Today we have another installment of what makes this hike great. We're going to look at one of my favorite hikes and favorite areas in all of New Jersey. It's in the central region of the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, and it's Buttermilk Falls and Crater Lake. If you're new, just a reminder on how this works. We'll explain various aspects of the hike and what makes it wonderful, and then at the end of that is the 4K time lapse of the entire route. I use it just to bring some enjoyment and avoid the boredom of riding the stationary bike. It's set to music that I happen to like, but of course if you're using it for the same thing, feel free to mute it and put on your own music. You won't be missing anything in terms of audio from the hike. Before we get started, just one note on the trailhead. It is no longer accessible via car, at least during this pandemic time. So Mountain Road is closed at both ends. Buttermilk Falls is pretty much in the middle of Mountain Road. If you're coming in from the east or west, plan on an additional 3 to 4 miles of hiking on a vehicle road, dirt road, just to get to the trailhead. Personally, I take my bike to make it a little bit quicker and a little bit more enjoyable. But if you don't have a bike, you can still walk in, just plan for that extra mileage. The hike itself is about 7.5 miles. It starts at Buttermilk Falls, takes you up the ridge, Kittatinny Ridge, to Crater Lake. There's a loop up there, and then you return via Buttermilk Falls. In all, it's about 7.5 miles and a good for New Jersey 1,300 feet of elevation gain or so. By far the most difficult aspect of this hike is the section that runs along Buttermilk Trail. It's about 450 feet in a third of a mile. If you want to extend that a little bit, think of it as 700 or 750 feet in a mile. But that initial section is very steep, very tough on the legs, but it is rewarding. Once you get to the top, it's relatively easy the rest of the way. The stars of the show are Buttermilk Falls themselves at the trailhead, and then about the midway point is Crater Lake. This area itself is a personal favorite of mine. I make it a point to try to get to this area at least once a season, maybe not hike there every season, but it's great for landscape photography throughout the year, and it definitely is worth your time to go check out. Okay, we have a lot to get through, so before the 4K time lapse, let's see what makes this hike great. The first aspect is obvious. It's Buttermilk Falls. This is the tallest waterfall in New Jersey at about 85 feet. And, you can go there in the spring when the falls are roaring, and you can go there in August when the falls are down to a trickle. Both offer beauty in and of itself, right? There's different types of photographs you can take in those two conditions. Just be prepared for either one. And don't force your photography into what you expect before you get there. Take a moment, look at that scene, and figure out what type of composition works best for you. I personally find it very difficult to photograph the entire falls. It's for two reasons. One, obviously they're very tall, and two, the top of the falls always seem to be in sunlight during the day. So unless you're there on a very cloudy day, you can't capture the whole falls without blowing out some of your highlights on a long exposure. So I'd like to get a little bit more intimate and pick out certain sections of the falls as opposed to trying to do the whole thing at once. One additional item to note is the falls in the winter are really amazing after a cold spell. So this shot here was taken probably in March a few years ago, after a week of sub-zero temperatures. I happened to be there on a warm day. The warm-up actually went to the 60s, so it was a nice gentle hike to get in there, but the falls were still iced over. It's one of my favorite pictures. Being so close to the trailhead, the falls do have one major drawback, and that's the crowds. So I was there at the end of May for this video, 7:15 a.m. on a Saturday. I had the place completely to myself, but by around 11:30 on my way out, there were 20 people at the base of the falls, in the water, not climbing the falls, but in the water, having fun, families, kids, so it's not conducive to landscape photography when there's so many people there. In fact, on my way out, there were another 40 people coming down Mountain Road to enjoy the falls as well. So if you want to go there, get there early, especially on the weekend. I'm sure it's a little bit easier on the weekday, but just plan accordingly. The second aspect of this hike that is wonderful is Crater Lake itself. I can't really describe or put into words how Crater Lake makes me feel. I have, of course, taken some photographs I'm particularly proud of here, but I also just feel more relaxed here than any other place I frequent. I've been here on a hot day, and just soaking your feet in Crater Lake or even going for a swim is so refreshing. You just really can't put that into words. And also, just the surrounding area, you know, on top of a ridge, it's just a quiet and lovely place. Yeah, like I said, I can't put it into words. I just have this relaxed feeling whenever I'm at Crater Lake. But from a hiking standpoint and photography, there's a couple things we have to talk about. Hiking here, just okay. There is a wide double track that surrounds the lake, but there are interesting little side trails that can take you down to the lake itself. This is where the photography comes in. Each one of these side trails, they're unblazed, so just explore on your own, offers something for the landscape photographer. Whether it is a dead tree from across the lake, or a section of lily pads that are turning colors in the fall, or even near the parking lot for Crater Lake, there's a wonderful scene that you can capture a sunset time lapse in. So just go there and explore on your own. I feel like I've only scratched the surface at Crater Lake, even though I've been there many times over the years. The lake itself was left behind by a retreating glacier. It's called the Wisconsin Glacier. I looked that up about 22,000 years ago. And one other item to note, this area on top of the ridge was developed in the 1950s or so for like this resort type of town and housing. All those structures have been torn down, but if you explore, you can still see some foundations. You can even see the footprint of the various side roads that they had planned. So it's very easy to get lost up here if you're on unblazed trails. Well, not lost, just get get turned around in some way. Because there's a lot of side trails and a lot of routes that were previously roads that look like they're easy to follow in trails, but they may lead to somewhere that you're not accustomed to. So just bring a map, you'll be fine. You can't truly get lost. It all leads to the same place. Just like with Buttermilk Falls, this place can be crowded. So rules have changed for COVID, but in previous years you can drive right up to the lake. There's a parking lot with a bathroom. Now, at least for this summer, it looks like the current rules are the parking lot is open on weekdays. So from about noon on Monday until dusk to Friday. On Friday, you can go right down to the lake itself with your car. On weekends, the road, I believe it is Skyline Drive, is closed at Blue Mountain Parking. So if you want to go to Crater Lake, you have to hike or bike in. So pick your poison. It's probably easier to get to on a weekday, but you'll be fighting more crowds in the summer. On a weekend, you got to use your legs a little bit, but there are less people there. Third aspect of this hike that makes it great has nothing to do with the hike. So the area to access Crater Lake and Buttermilk Falls is amazing. So most people come in from the east, which means you're traveling through the southern section of Stokes State Forest, which means you pass Lake Ashrow, which also means you pass Tillman Ravine, which also means you're driving through the side roads of Walpack Township on the backside roads. Each one of these three aspects are lovely, and each one of these three are worthy of stopping and taking photographs if you're a photographer. So Tillman's Ravine, I've never had much success there. I hate my photos when they come out, but I know there's a gem hidden in there somewhere. So if you're traveling here, be sure to check them out as well. Plan for extra time on the front or back end of your hike. Take out the camera and just enjoy it. That landscape changes from every season, and it just offers so many different opportunities. So just plan for some extra time on the back end or on the front of your hike. Take out the camera and enjoy it. I love it there. The last aspect of this hike that I adore is Lake Success. This is a small man-made body of water from the 1950s that is a few hundred yards southeast of Crater Lake. It's accessible via a side trail or accessible via that main road, Skyline Drive. But what I love about it, and it's been on this channel before, there's an area that's flooded that has a handful of old birch trunks rising out of the water. And this is perfect for a long exposure shot that highlights, that perfectly still water with the birch trees coming out. I love it. I'm still working on a perfect composition, but I'm close. So that's something I would look forward to tackling and, making the best of that landscape opportunity. It won't be there for long, right? Those birch trees will eventually rot and fall over. So I feel like it's a moment in time that I can capture that will be gone forever very soon. A few other items to talk about before we get to the 4K time-lapse. One is Hemlock Pond. Not a great landscape photography location, but if you're into reflections, this is a very calm body of water that has some pine trees in the background, so it works well with the reflection. The surrounding trail of Hemlock Pond is just covered with hemlock grove. They are infested with that wooded algid, I think it's called, so they are diseased and dying. But anecdotally, it seems like it's not as bad as it used to be, and there are sections of very lovely, lush hemlock, so maybe it's getting better. But check that out as well. It's a very peaceful area. The Appalachian Trail also runs through here. It's a very flat and lovely section of the AT, and in the summer you will undoubtedly run into a few thru hikers if you go at the right time, so that's something to look forward to as well. My favorite section of trail, well, there's really two. One is on the AT. Before you get to that flat spot, there is a nice little rock scramble, and the top end of Buttermilk Falls Trail is just a lovely winding path. It's a little bit steep, but it's got some character, and it's a pleasure to hike through. No photo opportunities, but it is a pleasure to hike to. And finally, before we go, just be careful of your surroundings here. I've at least encountered a snake or a bear on every one of my trips I've ever taken here. They never bother you, of course, right? They're more afraid of you than you are of them, the old cliche, but it's true. But just be wary. You don't want to step on a snake. They love to get out and sunbathe on those rocks, and there are plenty of rocks on the trail, so you'll find them draped across the trail at times. Just be careful of your surroundings and you'll be fine. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Here comes the 4K time-lapse. Enjoy, blast or turn the music off, whatever works for you. Thank you very much for watching. Get out and explore.
like a book elegantly bound, but in a language that you can't read just yet. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. I slowly pass, and I long for this mirrored perspective when we'll be lovers, lovers at last. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. I will possess your heart. I will possess your heart. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart. certified lean. I'm the man. Come round. Nothing can break. You can't break me down. I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. I don't feel no pain. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man with the plan? I'm the man. Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man with the plan? I'm the man. I'm the man. I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. Headed for the heart. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. Right hand of God, first in command. My testimony, but I take the stand. Who's the man? 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 Who's the man with the plan? I'm the man. Who's the man? 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 Who's the man with the plan? I'm the man. I don't give a damn. I'm the man. It's true, maybe I sleep till noon for breakfast. I have a little smoke, then I get up and go. And yes, I'm always 2 hours late for what, babe? It's hard being a slave to your body and soul. You know I'm only bragging, boss is always nagging. My house is dragging, but they don't know. You think I kinda mess around, but I'll never let you down. So have some faith, I'm sticking around, sticking around. Hey, I bet your body's so sweet. Oh yeah. So roll your dice to my feet. Oh yeah. We're winning when our eyes meet. Oh yeah. You
sails playing in bow waves. Healers for the ones that died. Don't know how he came to survive. Just know he owes it to them to be happy.
Time has numbered my days, and I'll go along with everything you say. But I ride home laughing, look at me now, that the walls of my town, they come crumbling down. And my ears hear the call of my unborn sons, and I know that choice is color all I've done. But I'll explain it all to the watchman's son. I never lived a year better spent in love. Cause I know my weakness, know my voice, and I'll believe in grace and choice. And I know perhaps my heart is sparse, but I'll be born without a mask. That nurtured my greed and my pride, I stretched my arms into the sky. I cry, Babel, Babel, look at me now, that the walls of my town, they come crumbling down. You ask where will we stand in the winds that will howl, as all we see will slip into the cloud. So come down from your mountain and stand where we've been. You know our breath is weak and our body thin. Press my nose up to the glass around your heart. I should have known I was weaker from the start. You'll build your walls, and I will play my bloody part. to tear them down. Well, I'm gonna tear them down. 'Cause I know my weakness, know my voice, and I'll believe in grace and choice. And I know perhaps my heart is sparse, but I'll be born without a Mars. Stood all alone. Thank God for California. Thank God I'm going home.